It's rough
You just
when you have those type of tags on you.
Right.
Yeah, and you just spoke about that movie. I want to talk about some books. What books did you read coming up and even now that were like most inspiring to you?
Just because, Jarvis. I guess he didn't like your question, DB.
They usually don't.
Oh man. So yeah, he'll be back in. I guess he got a phone call at the same time. Yeah, man, it's go ahead, DB.
No, I'm excited, man. This is, it's one of those things I mentioned before. We meet somebody who is, 45, 50 years old, and they have all these accomplishments.
Mhm.
It's like, okay, you had time to do these things.
Mhm.
But when somebody is in their 20s, you know what I'm saying? Like this, you talking about a dude even younger than me, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like getting it in like this, there was no time for him to take any breaks. You know what I'm saying? Like, he always had to do something. He had to be watching something, some documentary, reading a book, studying something. I mean, there was no breaks, So
Yeah.
I think you mentioned it before. You just can't be lazy.
Yeah.
But it's like books, things like that. I wasn't an avid reader at all.
Wow.
Really wasn't big into books until later on when I start becoming woke in a sense. So I read The Art of War. That's one of the latest books, and then I just read a lot of finance and econ books on like finances and invested, stock market for dummies type of things. But I never even was like I used like one of those like life experiences. But I just started getting into reading, so I wasn't a big book guy at all.
What's the judge relationship with the jury?
In terms of
like just the overall, like what's your discretion, what you can and can't do?
So as my job, right, I send cases to the next level, what would be like the jury trial.
Gotcha.
So my job is to see like, so for me, it's like if any crime is committed in my area, like, or if you want to get someone out of a home. So far as like crimes being committed in my area, if you want to get someone out of a home, if you are charged with like a non-traffic offense like harassment, or if you're even charged with like a parking ticket, I have like a boundary of the city where I am in like quote unquote control of. So nothing can happen without first going through me. So like I would hear a case prior to, and I would see, what charges need to be like either dismissed, or I see, what charges need to go forward onto the jury trial.
So are you deliberate? So hypothetically, you're deliberating on, I hate to use example, but hopefully it makes sense to the audience because it's so polarizing now. The police officer shoots suspect A and in your jurisdiction. And then like in most cases, like yesterday, the officer will not be charged. You make the decision to put the charges in and then send it to a jury trial.
No, if he was to be charged by the district attorney, but in that case, I feel like the state attorney general would pick that up.
Gotcha.
So cases like that, I don't think that I would even hear those type of cases, even if the officer was charged. That's like more of like a state attorney general type of thing.
Gotcha.
But if it were just like a regular type of guy, and he ended up doing that, he would be responsible for that.
You so you have great interaction because now you're seeing the people who vote for you, family members or themselves, actually come into your courtroom. How's that?
Oh my goodness! So I've seen people that I go to school with, that come before me, and they stop talking to me because if I feel as though I can be fair on making a decision without any prejudices or things of that nature, and I hear it, I am going to make a decision that's solely based on what I'm hearing, not because of a relationship or if I know you or not. And some people can't handle it or they don't like it and they don't talk to me anymore. So I've lost, relationships. I've lost, people that I know off of that, I even heard, some family members' case, and I make a decision based on, the facts. And they complain to my mom or something like that. And I told her, I don't talk about, things outside of work. So I don't respond to it. You know what I mean? So it's definitely challenging at times because people expect, since they look like me, that I'm just gonna, oh, you were doing this wrong, and they just throw it out. No, that's not how it works. I have the job to do. I'm gonna do it.
Facts. DB.
Yeah, I have one that's a little bit trivial though, because we all grew up watching like People's Court and stuff like that. What did you think about the shows that had Judge Greg Mathis, who had a similar story to yours, but he was actually locked up as a youngster, and then South Central LA's own Judge Joe Brown? What did you think about those shows?
Oh, those shows is funny, especially my man. Be like, "Are you a crackhead, ma'am?" But yeah, growing up, man, I just be like, yo, that's powerful. These dudes are judges, and then to even be on TV and just have that image is just like, that's a good look to be able to see someone that looks like you know what I mean, and to try to attain something like that. True, maybe I could be on TV one day. Who knows? Call Judge Joe Brown, Judge Mathis. Y'all getting old. Y'all need a replacement.
How much of that is actual, and is any of it changed a bit for theatrics for the sake of TV?
So with that, they actually have real cases that they mitigate and they go through because it's civil, so it's like, they agree to have it, come on a TV show, but the decision's already made, and it's not real. So it's different. It's not real, but it's real people, real cases, but they already decided it, and they bring it onto the show.
Okay. Yeah. Fine.
The civil law, man. Civil law is long, and we even get days to make a decision before even handing down a decision on it.
Got you. And there's a super chat for you right here, brother James Manning. He said, ask Judge Johnson about his accomplishments as a track and field coach while running for and while in office.
So is he asking like
right
while I was running?
Yeah.
So when I was running for office, I was coaching, and during that time, I coached a kid. Man, he broke my school record, shattered it, and he ended up, being able to go on and get second place in the state. He should have won, but he didn't. And I ended up, he went to Youngstown State. On a 52% scholarship, which is, he ain't had to pay for nothing, and he broke their school record on being there, just for the first season as a freshman. So I was able to pass down, the things that I learned from school and the Olympic Training Center and all my knowledge, and I passed it on to him. And he was able to break my school record and go on and break his college school record. So it was awesome.
That could be the name of your book, Running While Running.
It's books talks for sure. I'm thinking about it, because I just got to think on how to say the things that I need to say to reach the people I need to reach without, Yeah.
So when you went to Penn State, you probably had a decent experience. I mean, you finished school. If you had a chance to do it all over again, would you have gone to Penn State again? And also, what do you think about the HBCUs?
The HBCU that I went to, I went to Lincoln, and I didn't like the way it was structured. I feel like I was closed in compared to Penn State, but Howard is amazing compared when you compare those two. If I would have went somewhere, it'd have been like, like I like the way, I met a lot of people like Steve Payman. He used to be the CFO for Beyonce for Parkwood Entertainment. So, and he went to, Morehouse, and like just like the brotherhood, those guys, that I've seen them have, and like, just listen to them talk, I feel like if I went somewhere, I would have HBCU. It probably would have been Morehouse. But as far as Penn State, I wanted to go to University of Arkansas, which is SEC. They had the best coach there. My mom, she was really upset about, me going away that far. So I went to Penn State because of my mom. I actually, a guy called me and was like, you should go to Penn State. And then they said he sent the money to the school for me to go there because I switched so late. And I met this guy for lunch, 15 minutes. He paid, gave me money to go to Penn State my first semester. Wow. First time ever meeting me, man. And that's how I ended up at Penn State. So I'm just like my mama, she was all scared and worried. I said, all right, I'll just go to Penn State.
What's your thoughts on today? Like, you see what's happening at the state capitol, and what's your thoughts as you watch the news?
It's crazy. I can't. This is political, and we can't talk about political stuff.
Oh,
for real. So it's wild,
mm.
and it just shows where we are today, and we're not as far as we thought we was. I'll just say that.